birthday toast literally years in the making for Carolyn McCrae.
I was born at 2/22, on 2/22. And so when we found out that it was going to be 2/22 of 2022 and on a Tuesday, I said, well, we need to go big or go home.
A Tuesday birthday, making her feel 22 again.
You know, the only thing that I regret about today was that I didn't do tacos and margaritas because it's Taco Tuesday and it's National Margarita Day, and I feel like I really missed an opportunity.
This day on the calendar won't roll around for another century, and plenty of folks found ways to celebrate, stiff drink or not. It was tutus, tiaras, and ties all day long at Harvey Elementary in Henrico.
Can everybody say Happy Tuesday?
Happy Tuesday!
At VCU's Cabell Library, those passing by this whiteboard left notes about two good things that have happened lately.
I started a new job, and I have a new nephew on the way.
Humans look for patterns. Humans are pattern recognizers. It's one of the things that makes us excellent at doing lots of things.
Dr. Catherine Franzen, a neuroscientist with the Science Museum of Virginia, points out Tuesday is just a quirk in their Gregorian calendar. But she says our brains are drawn to patterns to help process information.
Look out at a large amount of data and pick out the anomalies, the strange, interesting things. So our ancestors looked out at the savannah and could pick out predators that might come attack us. The way that we count days, months, years is all just a way of us organizing information through patterns.
We are gathered here today
for Johnny and Jessica Mitchell.
You two have come together to love one another in an eternal and boundless way.
2/22/22 marks the day they officially organize their lives around each other.
I now introduce to the world for the first time, Mr. and Mrs. Johnny Edward Mitchell II. Woo!
Jake Burns, CBS 6 News.
Let's go! Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Members will rise and receive the Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Following a weekend of celebration, Governor Youngkin enters Virginia's capital saying there's work to do.
From the perspective of the everyday Virginia family, times are tough. And the state of the Commonwealth is not what it should be.
Youngkin calling this moment a tipping point, saying Virginians feel disconnected with their government in Richmond.
They see declining schools. They see violent crime reports dominating the news. They see record low labor participation. They see small businesses struggling. And they see government failures and encroachments on their liberties.
Within hours of taking office Saturday, Youngkin signed nearly a dozen executive actions that mark a swing in policy for the Commonwealth. Among them, they launched an investigation of the past parole board aimed to give parents the ability to opt their kids out of school mask mandates and work to block certain topics from school curricula.
Formalizing that we should not use inherently divisive concepts in schools, including critical race theory, and why we should not be teaching our children to see everything through a lens of race.
Critical race theory is not taught in any public school in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It is taught in colleges.
Senate Democrats responding to the speech, saying Youngkin's words about working together during it ring hollow, based off his early actions.
If you're going to stand there and say we want to teach the good and the bad and the ugly of Virginia history, and then sign an executive order saying we're going to ban critical race theory, you're being a hypocrite.
Democrats say items like law enforcement and teacher pay might be areas of agreement.
Wherever there's common ground, we're going to do it.
Youngkin got cheers from both parties when promising to stop the dumping of raw sewage into the James River, preventing sex trafficking, and directly addressing the 1.6 million Virginians not vaccinated against COVID-19 yet.
Speaking to you as your governor, I'll never tell you what you must do. But speaking to you as your neighbor and your friend, I strongly encourage you to get the vaccine.
On a stunning sunny day in the River City, it's hard to think on anything but Mother Nature.
It's a beautiful day. I'm actually up here with my parents and my boyfriend over there, and we're just out for a walk.
Teresa Fenn was kind enough to multitask and talk about something that feels miles away from this scene, budgets.
More recently with inflation and rent prices are really going up. So I'm having to really kind of take a closer look at that.
Sunday, both the Republican-controlled House of Delegates and the Democrat-controlled state Senate released their own state budget plans. Both versions of the budget include a tax refund for all Virginians who file. You can see the two plans include differing amounts. Similarly, both the House and Senate include cuts to the grocery tax, although the Senate preserves a 1% local option. The biggest gap comes because the GOP House is backing a doubling of the standard deduction on income tax and cutting the gas tax, something Senate Democrats aren't supporting. The Richmond Times-Dispatch reports the discrepancy makes up the bulk of a $3 billion difference between the two plans. Both plans call for raises for teachers and state workers, but the House version includes 2 4% raises and 2 1% bonuses. The Senate's version includes 2 5% raises and a $1,000 bonus. Another huge issue is aging school buildings. The two plans take differing approaches, with the House creating a $2 billion loan rebate program to help districts pay off school construction debt. The Senate version includes $500 million to address school modernization. Back at Browns Island, Fenn says she experienced what appeared to be lacking government resources just a day before.
And I was on hold for like 3 or 4 minutes watching a fight unfold, and I'm trying to call someone.
It's why she hopes promises made at the Capitol end up as actual community investment.
Have that baseline there so that we, the consumer, can have the peace of mind and the security to be able to know we can get to our jobs, we can call emergency services if we need it, and then we can manage our own finances from there with that baseline.
Budget discussions will continue in the coming weeks. The House and the Senate will have to come to an agreement by early March, and then Governor Youngkin will have a say. Working for the state capitol, Jake Burns, CBS 6 News.
Save our children!
What does it say when this march,
Save our children!
in which more than a dozen families who lost a child in gun violence,
Stop the killing!
walks past the spot where 15-year-old Tynasia Humphrey was hit by crossfire and killed just last weekend? It happens a few hours after a teen was gunned down a few miles away off Laburnum Avenue in Henrico.
But just because there is some conflict, I put a bullet in your head or in your heart. Something is wrong with that.
Henrico police investigating the Sunday shooting of what sources say is the homicide of a 17-year-old near the St. Luke's apartments.
When you get a phone call that your baby is not here anymore, it's the worst phone call in the world.
No one marching Sunday knows what happened on Laburnum Avenue.
I hurt every day.
Almost everyone knows the feeling of having a loved person ripped away from the world.
You'll never go back to the life that you had before you lost your loved ones. You'll never go back. This is the new normal.
It's that pain that helps inform these families on ways to solve this seemingly revolving problem.
The main problem is these kids need love. They need love. They go out here and they trying to find love in the street.
And if you make sure that your mind is strong, your mind is tight, your mind is right, ain't nothing you can do. That's us. That's what we got to do.
If that's not convincing, consider this. Face after face, story after story, kid after kid taken away. They rise up now in front of you.
We'll rise up in spite of the ache.
So that maybe someone else won't have to do the same.
I will rise 1,000 times again.
You're talking about that on a black shirt?
The Randolph-Macon men's basketball team had designs on a big season.
We've got to say national champions.
Now, they're designing national championship shirts at the campus store. The Yellow Jackets on Saturday won the school's first Division III national title in dominant fashion.
Excited to be back talking about putting national champion on the shirt. That's for sure very fun.
Senior forward David Funderburg felt confident his team had the chops to take home a title, but he and his teammates had little knowledge about what to do when they got back to campus.
Buzz and I are like, what do we do? You know, I went to his house and we're like, what do we do? And we're like, well, we've never been a national champion before. It's kind of up to us.
Yeah. I came to class this morning and the professor was like, crazy weekend, like we won a national title, and everyone's like, yeah, it's awesome.
Sheridan, Lizzie, and Catherine traveled to Fort Wayne, Indiana to root on the team. Unlike bigger programs at larger schools, they know the players personally.
It's not like there's strangers who just won the championship. Like, these are our friends. Who gets to say, like, my friend won the national championship and I got to be there when it happened? That's the sweet part about it.
We're so proud of them.
Barclay Duprice has worked on campus 37 years and is designing a way for those coming into the campus store to share in this moment.
One of our old mantras used to be, believe in the moment of connection, which I still believe in. These guys are so great because they know they have the connections. They know they have the faculty behind them. They know their coaches. They know their fellow students.
Barclay calls Randolph-Macon the greatest small college in the world, something she says the players on the court exemplify.
It's such a family here. This will put us on the map forever. We can say, yes, Randolph-Macon College produced national champions. Makes me want to cry. I'm excited.
A chatter around campus.
Everyone is so excited.
The University of Richmond men's basketball team going dancing in the NCAA tournament. After winning the A-10 tournament title, the Spiders taking part in March Madness for the first time in 10 years, when many of these students were in middle school.
We were little babies. I mean, they weren't supposed to win. Davidson was supposed to win, and so everyone is going crazy.
Seeing them all happy for each other, that's really what sticks with me.
Freshman Thomas Takala takes photos of the games for the school paper. He's seen close up, a key ingredient to this year's squad.
They know each other, they know how everyone is, what they're gonna do, and them being together outside of the basketball court definitely helps them.
Many of the key Spiders on the court have played together at UR for several seasons now. Their tournament title, an unexpected ticket to the NCAA tourney, a box checked for a team that hadn't always lived up to outside expectations.
Yeah, I think it was just a tremendous story of grit and determination because they could have folded a lot of times. They lost some games they shouldn't have lost.
Linda Boland has been a professor at Richmond for 18 years, but a basketball fan longer.
Forever.
If sports can reflect life, Boland said this team showed a trait so many have battled lately.
Filtering out some of those distractions, which is something that a lot of us have had to do in our work lives and our family lives over the past couple of years, is really focus on what's important to you. And that's what this team was able to do. And I'm really proud of them, and I'm so excited for them going forward.
Spiders fans on campus itching to see just how long this run can last.
I just think that it's great that they made it this far.
I think they'll go as far as their good defense that they played this weekend will take them.
I think they can go pretty far, especially with their chemistry, and I really think that they could do some damage this year.
Jake Burns, CBS 6 News.
Yes. Yeah,
all four of us. They did it all one day.
This is a family story about both addition and subtraction.
My daughter's like, oh, Dad, does that mean now you're sensitive more since you got a female inside of you?
Sam May.
I got my call on the last of June in 21 that they had a perfect match for me.
And Yvonne Walker both needed a new kidney.
I would get winded. I had no strength. It was just taking everything out of me.
When you're on dialysis, you're waiting for a donor from someone who have passed, and it could take anywhere from 5 to 10 years before you find a match.
Yvonne's sister Carol, who's a nurse,
and I've taken care of a few patients that had received a kidney.
And Sam's sister Sophia
didn't want to give him a healthy kidney, and he would get 5 years as opposed to 15.
Got tested to see if they could become living donors, but were not matches for their siblings.
And they told me what my options were, and they mentioned the swap program, and I said, what are you talking about? I had no idea. I thought if I didn't have a perfect match that I couldn't get a live donor.
The technical term for a swap donor is a paired exchange program. In this case,
not only we are connected, we're also both tourists.
Sam and Carol were a donor match, as were Yvonne and Sophia, something they never would have known without getting tested separately.
It just speaks to the fact that we have so much more in common as people.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I can't say enough how appreciative I am that this program was here.
The subtraction part of this came July 2021, when after months of medical and psychological exams, Sam and Yvonne received their transplants from Carol and Sophia.
Yes, a deceased donor would have worked, but the life expectancy of that is around 7 years, so I was told. This can be lifetime.
And taking care of myself wasn't just about me, it was so that I can be a benefit to someone else.
Would I do it again? I would do it again, but I only have one more kidney.
Can't give that one away. I'm going to do whatever necessary to make sure I get the 20 plus years from this, God willing. And that's how you have to look at life. I appreciate, this is my sister.
As you can see, with a few lifestyle changes, all are now healthy. The addition piece of this began November 2021 when the new extended family met for the very first time.
No matter what color the skin is, everybody's the same on the inside. And I just love these two, and, you know, it's a perfect family.
Until God called me home.
That's right. I mean, that's how we feel. We mentioned this the very first time we met in November.
Yeah.
We're family.
If this reaction from Vivian Rivera Maisonet isn't good enough for you,
but also the Teacher of the Year for the entire school.
Her mother works at Elizabeth Scott Elementary too, and got to see the Spanish resource teacher named Chesterfield County Teacher of the Year.
Being able to receive this award and look at her in the eyes, she's with me, you know? It's my mommy. She's with me. She's safe.
Rivera Maisonet moved to Virginia from Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria ravaged the island in 2017.
I think that Virginia chose me, and that's why I'm here, because I had to be here. And look what's happening now. I believe that a kid, when a child is happy and enjoying him or herself, I mean, they're learning. They won't forget whatever happens in that moment.
This moment comes after several years of teacher strain, trying to educate during the pandemic.
It is Teacher Appreciation Week. It shouldn't be just a week. It should be the whole year after these last 2 years, right?
Monday, U.S. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona visited Richmond's teacher residency program, saying investments like it need to ramp up.
We know the pandemic exacerbated the need to have more qualified teachers. This program here, which we're really proud at the Department of Education to say that we're also putting funding into that, invests in the community to get teachers that'll be here.
I'm gonna have to say it. I felt like a really cheap YouTuber right there, like, Cece. And
Rivera Maisonet found a way through and kept her students engaged. Seeing her classroom in person shows how she shines as an educator, engaging kids through conversation and action.
It's going far beyond these four walls that are surrounding us inside a classroom. It's teaching them about a world that's out there.
She's also aware hers is one classroom in a big world.
Education is power. And when you give education from the heart to a child, and a child is learning and is empowered by that knowledge, you are saving a life. Teachers save lives every day because of the work we do.
Jake Burns, CBS 6 News.
These items are very special.
What started as a donated old suitcase sparked this quasi-family reunion lunch inside Swift Creek Middle School.
He said, oh, there's a history teacher that would love to have that suitcase because he knows what a history nut I am.
A colleague told Pam Rockenbach-Ploss about a suitcase his neighbor found at their old house, stuffed with World War II artifacts. She challenged her 7th graders to figure out the mystery behind who it belonged to.
So the first thing we did is we just brainstormed questions about all the things that we were seeing in this suitcase.
The uniform and a notebook inside it included the name Leonard Daniel Kelly, who served in the Navy. The students dug through military, property, and census records to find out more about his life and his family.
One of the driving goals for the students on this project was to find living relatives because of the things that were in it that are so special.
Everybody in the family called him Kelly.
Del Curry and Matilda Conley knew Leonard Daniel Kelly as uncle. Del got a letter last week from these students saying they had his suitcase and identified them as his family.
That was just so exciting to think that the kids were initiating a lot of this.
We only knew him as an engineer, and so we didn't know a whole lot about his past, his Navy career. Because remember when they got married, we were about the age these kids are now.
Mr. Kelly's family will soon get his items and suitcase back. Ms. Rockenbach-Plas says her students plan to continue researching Kelly and letting his family know what they find.
It's giving them an understanding that history is not just dates. It's human people. It's people, and they have stories to tell.
Hope they'll learn to delve into things more.
Yes.
You know, than just taking them at face value.
I want to see them find out as much about Kelly as possible. I also want to see them take these lessons on into the future. It will help them in their studies if they dig deeper into everything they go, if they know to ask questions rather than just accepting what the professor says or what the book says, but go on and try to dig.
The students have connected many of the dots in Mr. Kelly's life, even met his family members. But one big mystery still remains. If Mr. Kelly was from Crewe, Virginia, then how did his suitcase end up here at a house in Bon Air? A mystery the class still has to figure out.
Yes, and so that's one of the things they're going to. I found out some leads, but I'm not saying anything because the kids have to follow this through.
Jake Burns, CBS 6 News. All right, what has 4 paws, a tail, and tons of talent? It's behind me back here, the amazing Acro Cats. The talented troupe flipped its way into the River City today. This adorable group is made up of all former rescue cats. They give a one-of-a-kind, perfect performance, and it was over at the Dominion Energy Center today. It includes cats riding skateboards, jumping through hoops, and much, much more. The amazing Acro Cats have been featured on the Netflix series Cat People, Animal Planet's Puppy Bowl, and CBS News' Sunday Morning. The cat trainer there is Samantha Martin. She says she uses clicker training and positive reinforcement to teach the troops all of their fun tricks.
The show is part of Rock Cats Rescue, so we spread the word of clicker training with cats because a lot of people don't realize that you can train cats, and not only can you train cats, but you should train your cat because a lot of behavioral problems stem from boredom. So if you give your cat a job, it'll actually help relieve that boredom, and it'll help you bond with your cat.
I say more cowbell, please. More cowbell. The show ended with an incredible performance by the only all-cat band in the world. You heard them right there. Tuna and the Rock Cats. Wow, that's just a lot right there. Love it, though. Mike.
Jake, I have been missing out not teaching my cats how to play music. Got to work on it. I'll get to work on it, no doubt. But what a day.